Hello, Aries. Lately, maybe you've been feeling it too. Something is changing softly, quietly, like the breath of the universe brushing against your heart. The things that once felt familiar now seem to fade, while your heart prepares for something you can't yet name. Don't be afraid, this isn't an ending. It's a gentle invitation from the universe, guiding you toward a new journey. Let the stillness lead you, because deep within it, a door is slowly beginning to open. The night sky seems to be changing its color, Aries. The stars that once felt familiar now shine with a different kind of light, deeper, quieter, as if the universe itself is whispering something meant only for you. It's no coincidence that you feel something stirring inside your heart, like a hidden current slowly moving in a new direction. This change isn't loud or dramatic. It's soft, like the breath of the earth, but deep down, you know. An era is coming to an end. Every soul moves through its own cycles, just like the seasons turning on Earth. There is a season to bloom, and a season to fall, a time for creation, and a time for release. The universe never asks if you're ready, because when the soul's lesson is complete, the old door closes on its own, whether you resist it or not. It's not a punishment. It's a gentle act of divine protection, keeping you away from what no longer belongs to you. In the eyes of Buddhist wisdom, all things are impermanent. Nothing lasts forever, not love, not work, not even the bonds we once thought were eternal. Everything moves under the rhythm of birth and decay. And when something leaves your life, sometimes, that is compassion in disguise. It is the universe saying, that's enough. You've learned what you needed there, now go on. Perhaps you've started to notice that what once brought you joy now feels heavy. A room that once felt warm now feels small. A person who once felt like your sky has become a distant memory. It's not anyone's fault. It's simply that the energy has changed, and so have you, because growing up is not about adding more. It's about daring to let go. The end of an era doesn't come to steal your happiness, it comes to reveal the truth. It's like an old forest burning down. The ashes will become fertile soil for new life to grow. The pain you feel is not loss, it's transformation. Your soul is learning to breathe again, in the air of freedom. Aries, you've always carried the fire of action, the courage to move forward, the will to never stop. But even the strongest flame needs stillness. Otherwise, it burns itself out. Allow yourself to rest, to listen. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do isn't to keep fighting, but to pause and truly see what's happening within you. There are changes that don't come from the outside, they bloom from within. From the moment you realize you can no longer live another day as the old version of yourself. When that happens, Aries, don't be afraid. The universe is simply clearing your path, removing the heavy stones that blocked your way so you can finally see the light ahead. And then you'll understand. Everything that broke, every ending, led you right here to this sacred moment, where endings no longer mean tragedy but transformation. So as the wind shifts and the seasons change, close your eyes for a moment, feel your heartbeat, and trust that everything happening now is for the evolution of your soul. Because when the universe begins to close an old chapter, what's coming isn't destruction, it's purification. And in that gentle wind, a new note begins to play. Faint, distant. But if you listen closely enough, you'll hear it, the voice of your awakening soul calling you forward into the quiet depths of weariness, where everything familiar begins to fade and a new story is waiting to be told. Tonight, maybe you can feel it too, Aries, something you can't quite name. It's not the kind of tired that lives in your body, it's the kind that settles deep in your soul. Like a candle that's been burning for too long, the flame still flickers, but the wick is worn thin. You still smile, still work, still love, still keep moving as if everything's fine. But somewhere inside, there's a quiet part of you just sitting still, watching the world go by, softly asking, am I still living true to myself? Aries, you were born with fire, the fire of action, passion, and conquest. But sometimes that very fire burns your own heart. You hold on to things long after they've faded, a relationship because you fear being alone, a job because you fear emptiness. You smile when you should cry, stay silent when you should speak, and little by little, you begin to feel like a soul living in a house that no longer feels like home. What hurts us most isn't loss itself. It's the moment we realize that what once felt familiar now feels foreign. The dinners that used to feel warm are now just habits. The dreams that once glowed brightly are now faded photographs in memory. We keep holding on, thinking love will fix everything, forgetting that sometimes, even love needs to be released so it can breathe again. Buddha once said, "Suffering doesn't come from loss, it comes from resisting change." We suffer because we want things to stay the same, because we're afraid to face the truth that everything is always moving. When we cling to the old, we stop our souls from growing. We trap ourselves in the same loop of fear, fear of losing, fear of being alone, fear of starting over. But life, Aries, life has never stopped changing. Only we are the ones who refuse to move. Look around you for a moment. The things that once made your heart race, do they still bring you joy? The people who once walked beside you, do they still speak the same language of your soul? And you, are you still the one who used to chase the sunrise, who believed in good things, who dared to dream big and love without limits? If the answer is "I'm not sure," maybe it's because your soul is tired. Don't be angry with yourself for that. Tiredness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the soul's way of saying, you've been fighting too long in the wrong battle. You've been carrying roles that no longer fit. And when you finally stop running, you'll hear that quiet voice inside whisper, "I don't want to fight anymore. I just want to live honestly." And in that very moment, something sacred begins. Because when you tell the truth about how you feel, when you admit that you're exhausted, you open the door to transformation. The soul never gets tired without reason. It grows weary to make you pause, to make you notice what you've been avoiding. That life isn't just about success, duty, or strength. It's also about stillness, softness, and the simple grace of breathing in peace. If you're hearing these words right now, maybe you've reached that point too, where everything familiar starts to feel strange, and the light inside seems dimmer than before. Don't be afraid. Because from this exact moment, a new journey is about to begin. Give yourself permission to pause, write down what you feel, or simply whisper in the comments below, "I'm listening to my soul." Because somewhere out there, someone might need to hear your words, just to know they're not alone in this quiet ache. And then in that stillness, as you sit and watch your thoughts drift by, you'll realize something gentle but profound. This tiredness isn't the end. It's an invitation, a soft but steady calling leading you deeper into yourself. Because when the soul finally acknowledges its own exhaustion, destiny begins to move closer, touching your shoulder ever so lightly and whispering, "It's time to go to the place you've never dared to step before." There are moments in life when everything seems to stop. Plans that once felt certain suddenly fall apart. Doors that seemed open close right before your eyes. You begin to doubt yourself, doubt the path you've chosen, even doubt the kindness of life itself. But then, in the stillness between all that you can't explain, you hear something faint like the breath of the wind touching your heart. That is not coincidence. That's how the universe whispers. Sometimes, the universe doesn't speak in words. It speaks through the smallest of events, moments you could easily overlook. A trip canceled at the last minute. A stranger who says exactly what you needed to hear. A dream that leaves you waking with the strange feeling that something is on its way. Every delay, every coincidence, every unexpected turn, they're all notes in the song that the divine is playing for you. But because we're always in such a hurry, we mistake harmony for chaos, not realizing it's destiny itself beginning to play its melody. Aries, you were born to lead, to act, to move forward when others still hesitate. But destiny has chosen you for a different lesson, the lesson of surrender. When you let go of control, you don't lose your power. You simply place it into greater hands, the hands of the universe. Everything you think you've dropped is only being rearranged into divine order. Buddha once said, "When you stop, karma begins to dissolve. When you release, the law begins to move." The harder you try to control the flow, the more resistance you create. But when you loosen your grip, the river carries you exactly where you need to go. In those moments when you feel lost, you're being guided. In the hours when you feel alone, you're being taught to trust. And when you think everything is falling apart, it's actually falling into place in ways you can't yet see. A quiet miracle happens when you stop asking why and begin to ask what for. Every delay stops feeling like an obstacle and becomes a reminder, not yet. Every loss stops feeling like an ending and becomes the sacred space where something new can enter. Life, even in its hardest moments, is far kinder than we think. Because even when you believe you've lost your way, the path is still beneath your feet, waiting for you to trust and take the next step. Aries, have you noticed the signs lately? The number 11 glowing on your clock, a soft wind rising just as you whisper a prayer, an old song playing the moment you think of someone. None of it is random. These are messages, quiet notes from above. The universe saying, I'm right here, keep going, I'm guiding you. And the most beautiful part is this: when you truly believe, you no longer need proof. You realize you don't have to understand everything to have faith. You only need to know that every delay, every detour, carries its own sacred timing, a moment where everything aligns perfectly, like the final pieces of a picture only the divine can see. Then one day, an ordinary day perhaps, you'll look back and see that every worry, every tear, every restless night were all threads weaving you to this exact moment. The moment you finally understand, destiny was never against you. It was only teaching you how to listen, how to wait, how to trust, and how to let go. A new stillness begins to fill the air. The wind carries the scent of earth after rain, soft, clean, alive. You lift your face slightly, feeling your heartbeat fall into rhythm with the universe. And when you stop resisting destiny, something deeper begins to unfold, something no longer arranged from the outside, but rising gently from within you. The voice of your own soul, learning at last what it means to be free. There comes a moment in every soul's journey when everything seems to fall apart. The things you once believed in, the things you clung to, the things you called my life, suddenly feel foreign, as if they belong to someone else. Aries, this is that moment for you. The moment when the universe gently places its hand on your shoulder and whispers, it's time to shed your old skin. Like a snake entering a new season, you are peeling away the layers that no longer protect you. They're not just habits, relationships, or jobs. They are the layers of fear, of beliefs you once thought were unshakable, of promises you made to yourself just to be loved. Now, each of those fragments is beginning to fall away. Each invisible chain is loosening. And your soul, after so long, is beginning to breathe again. You might feel lost, maybe even empty, as if you're standing in a room that no longer exists, where the walls that once felt safe have suddenly disappeared. But look closer, Aries. Nothing truly vanishes, only what was never real. Because in the spiritual journey, death is never an ending. It is simply the return of truth. When the old collapses, what's truly yours, freedom, peace, inner light, rises quietly from the ashes. In this noisy world, we're often taught that strength means endurance, holding on no matter what. But real strength, Aries, is found in letting go. Letting go isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the courage to see that some things no longer deserve your energy. It's an act of trust, a sacred surrender born from faith that even when you release, the universe will still catch you. You might look around and see things falling apart, relationships ending, work slowing down, plans collapsing. But if you look with the eyes of your soul, you'll see that nothing is falling apart. Everything is simply falling into place. Life isn't taking anything from you. It's clearing what no longer serves your evolution. Like a sculptor chiseling away the excess stone to reveal the statue within, life is refining you, revealing the pure, powerful, and free being you were always meant to be. And when all the outer noise fades away, when the layers finally drop, you begin to hear what you'd forgotten to listen to, the voice of your own soul. It's as gentle as the wind, yet as steady as your heartbeat. And it whispers, "You've lost nothing, you're simply coming home." Have you ever felt like your world was collapsing, only to realize later that everything was actually being rearranged perfectly? If so, that was your awakening. Because when you reach the depth of loss, fear no longer has power over you. You understand that no one can take your light because it never came from the outside world. It has always lived inside your heart, waiting to shine again. And then, in the quiet that follows, something miraculous happens. You see that every ending was just a beginning in disguise. The death of the old self opens the path for your soul to live in truth. Everything heavy starts to dissolve, and what remains is lightness, the calm of someone who finally had the courage to face themselves and let go. Like soil cleansed after a long, hard rain, your life is now becoming fertile ground for new seeds to grow. And when the first sunrise of this new day touches you, its light won't just illuminate the world around you, it will shine within you. There, in that quiet glow, something new begins to stir, soft, sacred, alive. And in that moment, you'll understand. When illusions fall apart, what remains is not emptiness, but holy ground, where a new life is beginning to take shape, silently, yet surely. Like the first breath of a soul reborn, dawn is slowly breaking, Aries. After the long storm, the air feels strangely pure. The drops of dew on the leaves glisten like tiny pieces of glass, catching the first light of day. Everything seems quiet, but in that silence, something within you is quietly coming back to life. No more thunder, no more restless winds, only the steady rhythm of the earth's breath and a gentle warmth returning to your heart. Rebirth never comes with noise. It arrives softly, like the sun rising after a long night, slow, steady, yet certain. After walking through loss, collapse, and the moments when you thought you couldn't rise again, you begin to realize something profound. You no longer need to control. Everything seems to move on its own now in a perfect rhythm you don't have to manage. That's the gift the universe gives to those who have learned how to let go. Aries, you are the symbol of fire, of movement, of courage. But right now, your soul is learning a different lesson, the lesson of stillness, the lesson of faith. When you let go, you don't fall, you rise. It sounds simple, but within that truth lies the wisdom of ages. Because only when you stop straining to hold everything together can you finally feel the invisible hand of life gently lifting you. True peace doesn't come when everything is fine. It comes when you stop being afraid that things might not be. It's that sacred moment when you sit in the middle of imperfection and your heart is still calm. When you stop chasing light outside yourself, you realize the light never left. It was only hidden beneath layers of fear, anger, and pain. And now, as those layers dissolve, you feel the glow rising from within, warm, kind, alive. You may have thought rebirth meant starting over, doing something new, but it's not. Rebirth happens when you begin to see everything with new eyes. The same person, but a new consciousness. You walk the same road, but you don't run anymore. You don't hide. You don't fear. You smile even at the things that once broke you. That's the sign of a soul that has learned its greatest lesson, the quiet wisdom of spiritual maturity. If you're hearing this now, maybe you're in that very phase, the one where everything seems to slow down, where you begin to see that happiness no longer comes from what you have, but from how deeply you are present with life itself. Pause for a moment, take a slow breath and whisper to yourself, "I am ready for my rebirth." Those words carry healing power. They're not just a declaration, they are your soul's confirmation that you are ready to live again, lighter, truer, freer. When you accept, you no longer need to search. When you open your heart, you see that everything you ever needed was always here. A warm cup of tea, a gentle hug, a sunset, someone who truly listens. Life never left you, Aries. It was only waiting for you to stop resisting so it could come closer once more. And then in the quiet space between two heartbeats, something strange yet beautiful happens. Your soul begins to move again. Not in a rush, but softly, like smoke drifting, like the breath of the earth itself. Each step you take now is not to prove anything, but to feel everything. Each day that passes is no longer a race, it becomes a living prayer. The light that follows destruction is the light of truth. The light of those who dared to break in order to become whole. And as peace returns, Aries, your soul begins to move once more, not back to what was, but forward, towards something brighter, more honest, where freedom and gratitude flow together, like two rivers finally meeting beneath the morning sun. It's a quiet morning. The sun rises slowly, not blazing, but warm like a gentle touch. Aries, you are stepping into a new era, an era of soul freedom. No more days of proving yourself. No more endless striving just to hold on to something. No more sleepless nights spent fearing loss or wondering if you've been enough. Now, everything begins to move naturally, as softly as breath. No forcing, no fighting. You start to see that when you stop trying to control everything, life becomes more whole than it has ever been. For the first time in years, perhaps, you feel peace not because something wonderful happened, but because you are simply allowed to be yourself. This peace doesn't shout. It glows quietly from within. Like a still lake mirroring the sky, your soul now reflects harmony with the universe. You no longer wish to outrun time. You begin to trust the natural rhythm of life, to believe that everything arrives when it should in its own divine way. When you live in truth, effort stops being heavy, it becomes flow. What once felt like struggle now turns into a dance. Each challenge is a drumbeat, each step a movement of freedom. You no longer fear change because you've come to understand that change is the nature of life itself. And you no longer resent the past because gratitude has quietly replaced fear. In this new era, love is no longer something you seek, it is what you are becoming. Love isn't a relationship, it's a state of being. When you learn to love yourself, to love impermanence, to love even the scars that once caused you pain, you become the embodiment of compassion. People feel it when they are near you, the energy of a healed heart, one that has learned to smile even when there's no reason to. Aries, can you feel it? That calm after the storm, that quiet confidence when you just know you're moving in the right direction. It's not the excitement of beginnings anymore, it's the depth of maturity. It's not the fiery urge to conquer the world, but the gentle gaze of someone who understands that the world has never been separate from them. When you sit still, doing nothing at all, life continues to move through you, like water flowing patiently around a rock. You feel lighter knowing that nothing needs to be perfect to be beautiful. It's the cracks, the traces of time, the mistakes, all of them create the truth your soul has been seeking all along. Now, in the soft light of morning, you no longer try to control the path. You simply walk it with an open heart and relaxed hands. And as you walk this way, everything begins to harmonize. People, timing, opportunities, love all fall into rhythm. Every knot in your heart begins to loosen. Every wound begins to soften. You realize that the universe was never distant, it's always been right here. In every breath, every heartbeat, every moment you choose love instead of fear. After all the transformations, only one truth remains. The light within you has come home. That light was never lost. You just had to travel far enough to see that the path you were searching for has always begun inside your own heart. And within that light, something new begins to open, not an ending, but an invitation to a new dawn, where your soul can finally rest, in love, in freedom, and in the truth it has been waiting for all along. Aries stands in the quiet of a new dawn, where the sky unfolds like golden silk, soft, warm, and endless. Light surrounds you, not blinding, but tender, as if it wishes to hold every breath, every heartbeat that has survived the storm. No more rushing, no more questions echoing in your mind. Only stillness now, like a calm lake reflecting the whole sky. And you, standing there smiling, realizing you've truly come home. The end of an era is never a loss. It's a journey of return back to yourself, to the purest part of your soul that has always been waiting for you. Everything that has fallen apart, everything that has faded away wasn't punishment. It was guidance, clearing the path for a life that feels real. A life where you no longer need a mask, where you don't have to prove anything or fear that you're not enough. You finally understand true freedom doesn't come when you have everything, but when you are at peace needing nothing at all. In that moment, you can almost hear the whisper of the universe. It doesn't speak loudly, but its voice vibrates in every cell. When darkness leaves, there's no need to seek the light, for the light was never gone. That light has always lived within you. It was simply covered by layers of fear, pain, and expectation. And now, as those layers fall away, you see yourself clearly, more clearly than ever before. A radiant soul, one that has bled, that has fallen, but never stopped believing. You look back on your path, all the times you had to let go, all the heartbreaks, all the moments you thought there was no way out, and you know, it was all worth it. Because every wound, every ending, every closed door has led you here, to this morning light, to this peace. You are grateful now, grateful for those who left, for they taught you how to stand on your own. Grateful for the doors that closed because they led you back to the home of your soul. And grateful for yourself, the one who never gave up, even when no one saw your pain. Freedom is no longer a distant dream, it's the rhythm of your breath. You don't need to prove your worth or fight to be understood. You simply exist fully, honestly, completely. And in that presence, you begin to see love everywhere. in sunlight touching your hair, in the wind passing through an open window, in the smile of a stranger. Love is no longer something to find. You are love itself. If these words have touched your heart, share your story in the comments below. Perhaps your light will guide someone through their night, someone who, like you, is learning to let go, to rise, to return home. Every word you share becomes a small spark sent into the universe, helping another soul find faith in the dark. And now, as you close your eyes and take a deep, gentle breath, you can feel it, the quiet miracle. The journey is complete, not because you've achieved something grand, but because you've learned how to stay with yourself. Peace is not a reward. It is your nature, waiting only to be remembered. Thank you, dear Aries, for walking this path with such courage. May your new era be filled with peace, love, and blessings. You are free now. You are the light. You have come home.